All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this week's market update. Today, I want to get into new construction. I want to show you guys some new construction. Let's get into share screen here. So you can see, you get a lot of people who are picky, man, and there's nothing wrong with being picky. But if you're picky, let's see. How do I make that bigger? What if I did this? Oh, yeah, now we're cooking. Okay, so a lot of people want to be picky, and I want you to be picky, but they don't know how much is it going to cost me. Is it realistic? Is it going to be too challenging? So I want to show you guys exactly what new construction prices look like here in Port St. Lucie, okay? So we're going to come in, and this is the MLS you're looking at, right? So this is the database that realtors can use behind the scenes to see everything. So when you're looking at Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, Redfin, all those different websites, they pull from this, and they don't have quite as accurate information. It's pretty accurate, but not as accurate information. But this is as accurate as it gets, folks, right here. This is the good stuff. So you can see right now in Port St. Lucie, there are 403 properties for sale. If I come into type and I click on single family in a city of 200,000 people, we've got 344 single family options, right? So that's not including townhouses or condos, but it is including all of your standalone single family homes. So let's go in and let's look at sold prices first. Sold prices tend to be a little bit lower than active prices. So let's take a look. And I tell you what, let's look at everything that's sold since the beginning of the year. That's a good 2 months. That's not bad at all. And let's come down to single family. So we're only looking at single family homes. We're not looking at new condo divisions or anything like that, townhouses. We are solely looking at standalone houses. I'm going to come down to year built, and we're going to put 2021 as the minimum. Now, could there be a home that was built in 2021 and the people instantly turned around and sold it, and it's not a true new construction home? Absolutely, but I think it's few and far between, so we're going to take those numbers and go with them anyway. You can see we've got 154 options that were built in 2021 or earlier that sold in the last roughly 2 months in Port St. Lucie. So we're going to come over to, let's go to list. Let's go to list first, and we're going to come in and do a little bit of analysis here. So price, low to high. So you can see, where does that low point start out? We got one for 247 right here, okay? It's 1,270 square feet, pretty small, and it's going for 195 a square foot. That's what it's sold for, right? Here we've got another one, 1,288, smaller, right? These are 3-bed, 2 baths, 210 a square foot. This one sold for way low. There's something going on. It's also on Bayshore, which is a busier road, so it's going to sell for less. But you can see what the starting points are. So out of 154 options, let's see how many were under 3. It's 9 of them. 9 out of 154. So when people say, hey, can I get new construction under 300 grand, 5.8% of the properties that sold this year that are new construction are in that price point, right? The rest are going to be a little bit higher. I'm betting most are in that 400 to 600 range. So coming up, let's see what the median, that'd be 75, 76, 77. Let's see what that 77th home sold for. Right here, 354, 670. That's the median new construction price in the last 2 months. That's an interesting number, right? Now let's take the sold price per square foot and put that in order. And again, let's go look at that middle number 77. So right here at 187.21, and you're going to have to average that out with the next one, right, which is 187.74. So the median sold price per square foot is in that 180s. But I'll tell you, I bet there's a lot of these. Yeah, there are. That's a very specific subdivision, right? So if you're willing to be in that very specific area, that's what you're going to see. If we come over and look at, let's say when we start seeing photos that get out of these common areas. Okay, here's one, right? We've got one right on Darwin, 195 a square foot. Here's one on Boland Street, 196.23 a square foot. And I'll tell you guys, okay, here's another one. This was on Becker, right? So maybe it's a great home, but being on Becker is going to be a little bit tougher to sell just because it's a busy street and you got $200 a square foot. Here's one on Savona, again, busy street, 201 a square foot. Let's see what some of the higher end stuff is going for, price per square foot. Descending. I find this stuff so interesting. Okay, so high end, you're looking at 273 a square foot, 263, 260, 256, 252. Okay, and you can see what these guys are getting per square foot. And you can see for the, the most part, this is one that we just sold in PGA Village. It's $1 million, but other than that, we're at 420, 405, 468, 531, 567, 567. With the exception of that one, 9 of the top 10 are in that 400 to 600 range that I was talking about, right? And you can see that on the higher end, if you're looking for custom and you want some really nice upgrades and you're paying to be on a really nice lot, you're going to be in that 240 to 260 a square foot closed price, okay? Now let's come into CMA. Use all results. Next step, view. Here's some cool information. All right, so out of these, the lowest was 247.9. The highest was that one that we just looked at $1 million, and the average is 378. Right, so an average new construction home right now is in the upper 370s. Now you can see that on the low end, they're selling for 95% of asking. So somebody was willing to negotiate. They'll say that new construction is not willing to negotiate. They are. A lot of them are not going to, but some of them will. I'll tell you. So then the question is, when are they going to negotiate? When are they not going to negotiate? They're going to negotiate when they've already committed to building, right? And they've got it up. There's expenses attributed to that build. And if you don't buy it, they've got more expenses attributed. They don't like that. So a lot of times they'll work with you on that. But if it's a custom build and they're not going to build it unless you commit financially to it, they're not going to negotiate on price, or at least I've never seen them negotiate on price, right? And you've even got some that are selling for 6% over. So these are homes where they're asking whatever, $400,000 for the home, and they come in and say, hey, I want $24,000 in upgrades. Can we make these changes? Sure. So the original asking was $400,000, but because of what they wanted, they made some additions, and now it's sold for 106% of asking, right? You can see the biggest one was $39,17. That's a monster new construction home in Port St. Lucie. And the smaller end, you're looking at the high 1200s for square footage. And we saw a couple in those 1200s, but the average is 1968. So just under 2,000 square feet. And again, everybody's asking an average of 192.62 a square foot, and they're getting just a hair more than that at 192.76. And of course, they're selling fast at an average of 15 days. So this is all very interesting information. I want to come back. Now, remember that 192 is the average per square foot, right? We're going to come back to that. But now instead of looking at solds, let's look at actives. Let's see where people are at. What are these guys asking? So we've got 90 homes that fit this criteria, right? Port St. Lucie, new construction, single family. Let's take a look at this list. And let's go price ascending. So we've got, okay, so these, I think these are in, let me just make sure before I say it. Yeah, Spanish Lakes. So a lot of these are going to be in Spanish Lakes, right? And these are going to be in the low twos. But if we get out of Spanish Lakes, which is right here, they're starting at 295. Okay, so you've got one property here on, I don't know if it's Bergen or Bergen Street, 295. Got another one on Bayou Court, 299. That's it. Unless you're in Spanish Lakes, you got two options that are below 300 grand, right? And you can see they quickly jump. The next four, is it four? Yeah, four. You got one on Bayshore, which is a busier road. Bayshore, all busier roads. And then you've got one on Ridgewood that are all between 393,540 and 396,540. So they're all just a hair under $400,000, right? But that's it. You got 2 under 300. You got 4 under 400. And now we're over 400. So they get pretty pricey pretty quick. So when I put these, where's the asking price? List price per square foot ascending. And we've got, what was it, 98? So the mid price is going to be right around that 49. Let's go look at what 49 is asking. Remember, 192 is the average for sales. They're asking 230. So a big part of that is a lot of times they're going to ask for more than they're going to get, because you can see some of these people are negotiating. Another thing is prices have just gone up, man. The price of goods, the price of roofing, the price of wood, the price of concrete, the price of labor, all of it's going up. And as it goes up, the price of new construction is going to go up as well, right? So you can see a roughly, what would that be, $38 difference. Let's see what 38 divided by 192. That's a 19.8% increase in active asking prices per square foot over sold prices per square foot in the last 60 days. That's really interesting, right? That's showing you the new construction prices and their movement. That's really interesting. Now, let's go compare those 192 prices to actives, because everybody always thinks everything's expensive, right? I just went and bought a 12 gauge shotgun the other day, and when you look at those prices, you think, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. But it's all relative. Is it expensive? You got to really look at everything, right? So let's look at everything. Let's say 2020 is the newest home we're looking at. We're not looking at 2021 or 2022. We've still got single family homes. We're still in Port St. Lucie, and we're looking at actives. Let's look at that CMA. Of everything on the market that's single family home in Port St. Lucie right now, the average price per square foot asking, I think I know where about this. So I'm going to guess it's about, I'm going to guess $216 a square foot. It is way over that. $244.23 a square foot. $244.23 a square foot is the average asking price per square foot in Port St. Lucie for single family homes. Now let's go back and let's look at that sold price, right? Because active prices really don't matter. It's the sold price that matters. That's what you're really getting. So we got 628 homes that fit this criteria. Let's look at our results. Let's see where we're at. I know the number with new construction. I do not know the number without new construction. So I'm okay. So you can see the sold price is $214.39 a square foot. That's much closer to that number I was bringing up, right? So the average price per square foot right now for a not new construction home is $214 a square foot. If you remember, new construction, and this is lot included, everything, is $192 a square foot cheaper. So $214 minus $192 is roughly $22 a square foot. And they were what, 1968? These non-new construction are 1855. That means on average, people building new construction are looking for about 113 more square feet. But let's just use 1900 as an average, right? 22 times 1900 square feet. You're looking at new construction for a 1900 square foot home being about $42,000 cheaper. Cheaper. Isn't that interesting? Right? That's really interesting. So guys, if you're thinking new construction is expensive, I don't know that I want to do new construction for that reason. I'm telling you, new construction is not expensive. There are cheaper builders, there's mid-level builders, there's more expensive builders. You can be custom, you can do all kinds of fancy stuff. You can do bland yet cheap. You can do anything you want. And there are endless possibilities, right? Financing is something that you're going to want to take into consideration. It is not the same financing that you're going to use for most homes that you purchase in some situations. If it's a home that's already being built and they're going to build it whether they have a buyer or not, it's likely going to be the same type of loan. But if it's something you're starting from scratch, or they've got the lot, but they're not going to start building until they've got somebody actually committed to purchasing it, you're probably looking at a construction loan. So give me a call. I can hook you up with the greatest new construction lenders on the Treasure Coast, and we can hook you up. If you guys have any questions, please, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, feel free to put them down in the comments, and I will get back to you. Other than that, have an absolutely phenomenal day. Take care.